Hello, everyone. I'm Robyn Grable, the founder of Talents Ascend and the Ascend Collective, and your host for Ascending Beyond Barriers. Welcome. Ascending Beyond Barriers is an inspiring podcast dedicated to showcasing the remarkable journeys of small business founders who have faced and overcome significant challenges on their path to success. Each episode delves into the personal stories of entrepreneurs from diverse backgrounds, highlighting their unique experiences, struggles, and triumphs. Welcome back to the Ascending Beyond Barriers podcast, where we lift voices, share stories, and celebrate the incredible journeys of veterans, military spouses, and change makers who are breaking through barriers every day. Before we dive in, though, please subscribe, share, follow us, all the things, so that you don't miss an episode, but we can continue to do our mission of supporting underserved talent across the country. So thank you so much. Today's guest is Nina Pinidi. So honored to have you on, and we are in for an amazing conversation. So let's get started. All right, Nina, I always get to do this because, I have to be kind of agnostic when it comes to the branch. But when I get to speak with another Navy veteran, I get to say, go Navy, because it's my thing. So yeah, Navy service in the Seabees, which we're going to talk about, because that's not typically something women go into. And I know when I joined the Navy, women couldn't even join a lot of different occupations back in 1979. So looking forward to hearing that. But you're also the entrepreneur and founder of Solime Royal Hair product. I'm just so excited to hear about this. We've known each other for a while. We met at an event, and also going through, what was it? Was it Bunker Labs, or
Yes.
was it? Yes. Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
it was Bunker.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm just excited to hear your story. So let's start out with your time in the Navy. What prompted you to go in the Navy? Everybody always asks me that question. And why the Seabees?
Yeah, so what prompted me to join the Navy, Robyn? So at the time I was a medical assistant. And I was like, I really wanted to continue my education to become a
Okay.
physician assistant. But at the
Oh,
time, I was in Miami. It was Miami-Dade College, and the school required for students to already have financial support in order to be in the physician assistant program, and that wasn't my case. I had to work. So I was asking the nurses, what told them what the situation was at work. And I said, I really want to go into that program, but they said you can't, be in it unless you have financial support. So then they said, well, why don't you join the military? They pay for school. I was like, really? So then I was like, let me look into this. And so I actually, I looked for like all the recruiters I could find for all the branches, because I wanted to have information from each one. But I only found the Army and the Navy. And so the first ones that got in contact with me was the Army. I actually took the ASVAB test with the Army. They were ready to ship me off, Robyn. It was 2004. The war was in full effect. Like I remember seeing the news, and these people were saying to me, well, okay, you passed the ASVAB, and we can, we're ready to pack. And I was like, no, I'm not ready to. I don't want to go just yet. I have a job, I have a car, I have an apartment. I need to figure these things out. And also, I want to hear back from, the Navy recruiter. So the Navy recruiter did call me, I want to say a week after I had already done the ASVAB and everything with the Army.
Oh,
And he said, you didn't even give me a chance. By the way, my Navy recruiter is still on active duty. So shout out to Gene if he sees this, because he's been amazing. So he, we talked on the phone, and I was like, okay. I said, I'm a medical assistant. I want to, be in the medical field in the Navy. Can I do that? And he said, yes, we'll have hospitals on ships, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. But to be honest, Robyn, that service uniform, in the white service uniform, in the summer whites, I was like, I want that uniform. I just want to wear this. That was my thing. So, after talking to the Navy, I was like, I should do that. The Army recruiter did say to me, if you go with the Navy, they won't make you a cook. They make everybody a cook. And I was like, whatever. I
Wow.
know that I
That's
didn't
a
want,
good sales tactic.
you know, I know that I didn't want to leave right away. And so when it was time to go to uh MEPS, there you go. It was time to go to MEPS to see the classifier and pick a rate. And so my recruiter said, "Okay, I have good news and bad news." He says, "You can." So he said, "Good news, you have the option for two rates. Bad news, cook is one of them." And I was like, "The army was right. The army was right, Robyn. I could
Oh
not believe this."
no.
Yes. So culinary specialist. So I asked, of course, what is the other option? The other option was construction electrician. And my recruiter happened to also be a construction electrician. So I said, guess what? That's what I'm going to take. So this is how I ended up becoming a construction electrician in the CB. And I was like, because I will not go in. I didn't want the army to be right, and
Right?
also because number one, number two, I had worked hard on becoming a medical assistant, and I really wanted a job that was. I don't want to say that culinary specialty is not substantial, because of course their job is necessary, but
Of
I didn't
course.
want this to be my job because of
Right.
everything I had done up to this point. So
Yeah.
this is what
Yeah.
happened.
So was the medical field not available just then or just not available for you at all?
I think so. They were corpsmen, but from what the recruiter said to me that day, corpsman was not an option for me that day. That's what I was
Okay.
told. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So 17 years, you're medically retired. That is a tough circumstance for a lot of people, especially being in 17 years and you're thinking, I'm retiring, I'm going to do 20 plus years. How was your transition? Because I know, this podcast is all about ascending barriers, and
Yes.
that's a barrier that a lot of veterans face. They're medically retired when they don't want to be,
Mhm.
and now they've got to face decisions that they weren't ready to decide and face. So how was your transition?
You said it, Robyn. It was tough. It really was. It was tough in two ways. So I I absolutely wanted to finish my time. Like I was like, I'm so close. I've done all
Yeah,
the right things. I had, in my opinion, a successful career.
yeah,
I was the chief at the time, and unfortunately, the cards didn't align. That's what I'll say.
yeah,
Unfortunately, that was a place where I didn't have the support to, do what I needed to do. That I have to say that, unfortunately.
yeah,
So, I was, and then physically, I was like very, like, physically not healthy. Like it was
yeah.
rheumatoid arthritis. It was very
Ugh,
challenging. So on that
yeah,
on that end, that's why it was kind of like rough, because I wanted to finish my time definitely,
yeah.
because I'm like, I'm so close, but at the same time physically I'm like, I'm also ready to go, because I can't.
Right.
Life on a daily basis was so challenging.
Yeah. So
So
were you in the Seabees the whole time, the whole 17 years?
So I was the whole time until once I got sick. So basically, it literally was 2020, and that was a year I was with a CB unit. I was supposed to go on deployment, but then I was diagnosed with the illness then, and
Mm,
they said, well, this is a deploying unit, and because of the treatment, that will make me non-deployable. So from
sure.
then, they sent me to basically on limdo status, and sent me
Mm,
to San Diego, because this is where the Naval Hospital is. Because where I was, it was Ventura County, which is like 3 hours north, but there was no, I wouldn't be able to get the care I needed.
yeah. Wow.
So that's what happened. Yeah. So yeah, I finished my time with the CBs, but except for the last 2 years, where basically I was being medically processed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was tough, but I was lucky to have met, so in the unit I was at to be on Limdu, there was a someone that I was stationed with a few years prior, who worked in the career counselor's office, and gave me document that had a list of many resources that veterans can use, so transitioning service members, so, and I had never heard of it. So once I looked
Yeah.
at this list, I was like, oh my gosh, this looks like Pandora's box. And seeing that started giving me some hope, because I was like, because I literally went down the list one link at a time, and I was
Mhm.
like, I think that it's not going to be so bad, you know. But it was
Good.
at first, it was, but that list kind of
Yeah.
give me some hope. Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So when did you create Solime Royal Hair Products? When did that come about?
Okay, so Solime Royal Hair is a store for now. Like, it's not a hair care line, but it's a store, hair care store. And
Okay.
that like the reason why, it was two things. So towards the end of my career, so before the few years on medical separation, once I was a recruit division commander in Great Lakes. And while I was there, pushing boots, taking care of recruits, my second year there, I remember my hair just falling off. And so I was like,
Wow.
and so I remember, like, at first, I went to a hairstylist, and she was just guessing, oh, it could be because you just came from a very tropical area, and now you here it's very cold, in Great Lakes, so it could be that. Okay, fine. So we did what, we did some care, but the issue just just stayed. Like, so basically my hair would just fall off, and I didn't know why. So I decided to get a haircut, thinking, that was going to solve everything, but
Yeah.
it didn't. So it was all these challenges with my hair that made me think, okay, I need to create something where service members have access to better hair care, especially
Mhm.
hair like mine, because it's always been a
Yeah.
challenge, to where we have the same standard as far as like physical appearance. We all supposed to look a certain way in our uniform, but everybody don't have access to the hair tools to do that. So that
Mm.
was the first inspiration. And then the second one, it was after I got out the Navy, and I went through chemotherapy. I lost my hair. And so I had started the business already, but that confirmed even more why I should do this, because I was determined to find hair product that were free of harmful chemicals, and that would enhance hair health from anyone using them. So that's what I kept.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Well, thank you for that. Congratulations on that. You've had a few pop-ups at a couple different places. So is that how you get business? Can people buy your products off of your website? How do people find your products?
Yes, so I do have a website. However, because it was a new business, I didn't have much traffic, and so a few friends said, you need to be outside. You need to be out there to where people can meet you. So I was like, all right.
Sure.
So then I'll do pop ups. So I did get advisors from the Small Business Development Center.
Okay.
Initially it was from the Veteran Business Outreach Center, and
Okay.
VBOC connected me to the Small Business Development Center. And I told them what my goal was. I was like, I want to serve the military community. I want to be at the Navy Exchange. How do I do that? And so they told me, okay, you can start by doing pop-ups. So go meet, the managers, and tell them that you want to do pop-ups there. And I'm like, okay. And so that's how it started, and that's what I still do, because this is how customers find me. I get to talk
Okay.
to them about how to use the product and everything.
Yeah.
So yes.
That's amazing. Awesome. So what's been the hardest part about being an entrepreneur and trying to, you've got a product business. I have a service business, and there are challenges on both sides of that coin, but what's been
Yes.
the biggest challenge that you've overcome?
The biggest challenge I have overcome. So I want to say definitely capital. I know it sounds like a cliche thing, and a lot of people don't want to hear
Um,
about that because they're thinking, well, everybody has that problem. But it does need to be discussed, because it could be discouraging.
yes.
You know,
Yes.
in my case, so as you know, I was medically retired, but no retirement pay. So my source of income, yeah. So my source of income was just, the disability, and I was like, I really want to get this business started, bootstrapping. So,
Yeah.
whatever I can use. That's why it was very slow start. because I actually built my inventory a whole year before doing pop-ups. Yes,
Wow.
because that
Okay.
I was like, I only had one product at first. I was like, it looks weird to start to have a website with just one product. So I don't know, So
Yeah.
yes, it took me a whole year because funding. Um,
Wow.
so yes, that was the biggest obstacle. So now I am at a place where the sales revenue, I am I'm doing well enough to where I can continue restocking with the sales revenue, but at first it wasn't the case. So
Yeah.
it was a huge obstacle.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's hard. I mean, we bootstrapped, my company too, and even as a service business,
Hmm.
bootstrapping, it's hard. It's just
Yes,
hard.
it is.
So yeah, wow, goodness. So what's the big plan for 2026?
So the big plan is to have team members join Solime Royal
Okay.
Hair so that I don't have to do this alone and I can expand and
Nice.
serve more people.
Yeah.
So that's definitely the plan. And something more exciting.
Oh,
Team members for sure, and then some more branded products are coming for
okay.
2026. So some more
Oh,
Solime Royal hair products that I'm
nice.
very excited about. Yes.
Yay. Well, congratulations. We'll look forward to hearing more about that. So you, I saw that you have your master's in industrial organizational psychology.
Yes.
I went to Capella University and got my master's. That's the track I was on,
Mm.
but that's when I met an Army veteran's wife who had commented to me her husband had been out for 6 months, couldn't get an interview. It broke my heart, and I switched my major, still in psychology, but into leadership coaching, and I wrote my your capstone on how a veteran's success would be much better if they had a coach and somebody to help them with that transition and translate their skills, which led me to build what I do today. But
Mhm.
what prompted you to get a master's in industrial and organizational psychology?
So at the time, I was still on active duty, and
Oh,
because of yes, I was still on active duty, and so it was when actually it was 2020 when I was diagnosed with RA
okay.
and told you won't be able to deploy. So because I kind of could forecast what was going to happen, I'm like, okay, so more than my career is over, I have to
Mhm.
like have something before I get out. So
Yeah,
I chose IO psychology because for me, initially I wanted to make the workplace better because of the experiences I've had and because what
sure.
I've seen other service members go through. So that was the number one intention. Yes.
Wow. All right, excellent. And I also saw that you are a mentor at ACP, America's Corporate Partners. So thank you for doing that. It's important. What would you tell people about having a mentor?
It is more important than you think. So because something that sounds cliche where people say, "Oh,
Yeah,
you need to network, you need a mentor." Like it seems like a few things like being repeated all the time. But
yeah,
having a mentor is important. I would say the true importance is finding someone that you align with because
mm,
the mentor is what allowed me to go from the idea in my head of the business to
okay.
a full blown website and a registered business. You know,
Yay.
a mentor, shout out to Becca Brown. She's an amazing, amazing person. Shark Tank alumni, entrepreneur.
Oh,
Yes, she is a force to be reckoned with, and like I reach out to her sometimes and say you changed my life. Every time I have like a new milestone for my business, I reach out to her to share because I feel like without
wow.
her I wouldn't have gotten to that. So yes, find a mentor. There's different ways. ACP, American Corporate Partners, is literally tailored for veterans and military spouses. So if you don't know where to look for one, I would absolutely start there with ACP because they
Yeah,
understand that the military community. So I would
sure.
absolutely recommend anyone to get a mentor there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for doing that. It is important on both sides. It's important
Yes.
to get a mentor, and it's also then important to give back and,
Yes.
mentor someone else and
Yes.
share your knowledge. So thank you for doing that. So have you thought about going on Shark Tank?
Yes and no. So there is, I don't know if you've ever heard of Veterans Shark Tank.
Yes. Yep.
Yes. So I did apply a couple of times. So the first time I did apply, I did get a call back, but then I didn't make it to the final round. That was last year. Which, and that was fine with me. Because the only thing that's to me not attracting for Shark Tank
Yeah.
is the fact that you get investors. And
Yeah.
the way I see that is, okay, so it's technically people that now you have to answer to, you know? And I'm like, no, that's not the route I want to take.
Good for
I,
you for knowing that. Yeah.
I'm like, for grants, yes, because veterans, like for people that are there
Mhm.
listening, Veterans Shark Tank, you get a grant. You don't get
Yeah. Oh,
investors.
okay.
Yes, so it's worth
Okay.
it. So if you're like, I want to do Veterans Shark Tank, highly encourage that because you get a grant. But Shark Tank, you get investors, and it's a different ball game. So yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, they can do great things for you. I mean, they've got
Yes.
the visibility and the connections and whatnot, but they do take ownership, and that can be a hard pill to swallow sometimes. And I have a service business, so it's not anything I could ever do because they just don't like service businesses. I don't. You can't make as much money as fast
Yeah.
as you can with a product. I guess is their reckoning. But I love watching it. And I see a lot of veterans on there, and I always try to connect with them when I see a veteran on the show. I love to watch it just to learn
Yes.
business things and hear things that I should be responsible for. So tell us what's one of your favorite pop ups or experience or customer interaction. What's been one of your favorite stories since you've opened the business?
Oh my goodness. I was going to say one that literally just happened yesterday. So I did a pop up
Nice.
on so I go to University of San Diego, pursuing my MBA there. And yesterday I did my third pop up, and I literally share how that was exciting and emotional to me because this is my third time only, and I've had return customers on the second and third time already. And it's exciting not just because they came back, but also because of what they shared. One customer said to me, I want to tell you, like he didn't buy it. He just came by and said, I just want to tell you that the products work. Thank you so much. You are appreciated, and I hope that you get to come back next semester. And I was like, oh my
Wow.
goodness.
That
You
is
know,
awesome.
yes, because that's all I want. I just want people to have a good
Yeah.
experience, and for them to know how to manage their hair. Like, and because that's what I do. When people come to me, I like to share some of the knowledge on, like use a leave-in conditioner so that it will do this to your hair, blah blah blah. And I love it when people come back and tell me, oh, I did this and it works, and I'm like, perfect. That's now So yes, that these are my favorite interactions.
Nice.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that it's validation and that really, makes you feel good that what you're doing is making a difference and helping people and especially with hair because I mean it's very visible. I have the hardest time finding someone to cut my hair,
Mm.
which is why it's so long right now because I haven't had my hair cut in 2 years. I don't know. I'm not very picky, but I just like it the way I like it. And so
Yes.
it's hard to find people and products to really, do what you want them to do. So, and I have very thin, fine hair, so that's a fun time. But congratulations on all this. I'm so excited. I'm super happy to see how far you've come. And since we met, because that was probably, gosh, Bunker Labs was a good, how long ago was that?
Like
Like
2 or 3 years. I want to say maybe I
at
was still in
least.
too. Yeah. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Before
Yeah.
they
So
merged.
Yeah. But so congratulations. Well, we are out of time, unfortunately. Love to hear more about all your success and your stories because I just love what you're doing. And you found a niche that was not being fulfilled, which is what great entrepreneurs do. And then you went out there and found a solution for it, and you're doing all you can to make it successful. So thank you so much, Nina, for being here, and thank you for what you're doing. Thank you again for wearing the uniform of the U.S. Navy. Yes. And I'll look forward to continuing to watch your success. All
Okay.
right. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us on Ascending Beyond Barriers, where every story reminds us that potential deserves a pathway. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, which I cannot see how you wouldn't, please subscribe, rate us, follow us, all the things so that we can continue to share these wonderful stories of people and these powerful voices of people out there like Nina. Till we meet again, thank you for being here. Keep believing in your story, keep lifting others, and keep ascending beyond barriers.